Hello, everyone. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am going live at a totally different time. Usually I do 6:15 Eastern on a Tuesday, and I actually thought I wasn't doing this video at all today because I was booked solid all day, and then I have something for my kids later tonight. So I was going to do it tomorrow, but got a last minute cancellation. So here we are. And I thought I would take this opportunity to hop on and to connect you with the weekly messages so that we don't have to do that tomorrow. Say hello if you're watching, especially if you're watching on the replay, let me know, because this is a different time. So people are not going to be looking for this live right now. How are you guys feeling in this energy? I am feeling strange. That's the best way to explain. Like I just have these times where I feel these big surges of energy right now. And a lot of times for me, it feels like these surges of what seem to be anxiety. I'm very aware that they're just energy, but it feels like anxiety. Have you guys been feeling that yourselves, where maybe you feel a wave of nervousness or what feels like something strange pulsing through your body? How are you experiencing? Are you having difficulty sleeping? Are you sleeping really well? Because sometimes this energy can knock us right out. There's a lot that I'm feeling happening behind the scenes right now. I think there are a lot of challenging experiences that we are being protected from right now in the background, beyond the veil, that we are being helped and supported. I can feel things being moved. I don't know how to explain better than that, but I feel things being moved around. I feel this being supported. I feel this support, this intervention to help bring us as humanity to a higher place, to a better experience, and to help us to avoid some challenging things. I talked in another video that I made last week about just feeling this, somebody said impending doom, and I think that that was a really good way to say it. And that feeling is still there. There's definitely things happening. There's definitely things coming, but I also feel the level of support and how supported we are. So I think that we can lean into that and we can trust that, because I know all is well, that we are supported, and that this particular part of our collective journey is really being very carefully observed. And there's a lot of protection with that. So for those of you that are just feeling that overwhelmment with that, know that that's my sense of it. And hopefully that brings you a little bit of peace as you're navigating all of this. The message that I get again and again, I've shared this many times with all of you, is that what we need to be doing is to do anything and everything that we can to continue to come back to our light, to find our peace, to live our lives, to enjoy the moment, to be able to live. And that was in part why I felt called. Some of you have noticed that I started inside of my membership. I just felt such a strong pull and call to start a 30-day challenge where we're taking a look at our nervous systems and how do we regulate that. Because the idea behind it is, with a regulated nervous system, you are operating from a higher vibration. With a regulated nervous system, you are not as easily triggered, and so your energy isn't going to be all over the place. With a regulated nervous system, you're going to more easily connect with a state of detachment, and all of this helps to support us in manifesting better experiences for ourselves and manifesting the things that we want. So it's all focused around that. There is one area of focus every single day. So if you're not in, jump in. You can, it's video and content that I'm sharing in there. So you can do this anytime, but I would love to have you. claritybychristy.com, check out the membership section and get all the info for that. But it's only $9.99 a month. So we would love to have you and be a part of that. We're talking about it in the group, and we're just sharing ideas. This is going to be a really beautiful experience, and people are really loving it. We're only on day 2, but people are really loving it. I'm getting a lot of great feedback so far. So I'll make sure that I leave that in the comments below. So let's talk about what messages I got. How these readings work is I talk about channeled messages that I connected with, what I'm feeling in the energy, probably what you're feeling in the energy too. Probably, if you don't feel it now, you probably will feel it at some point this week. What you can expect is likely going to show up for you in some way, shape, or form. I always say with these readings, though, take what resonates for you, leave the rest, because we all have different journeys. We all have different charts. And so this is going to show up differently for all of us. And not every single part of this will show up for every single part of you. This is a collective reading, not a private individual one-on-one reading. If you would like a private one-on-one reading, I have those available. You can check out my website, again, claritybychristy.com. I have all kinds of services if you feel pulled. So without further ado, let's talk about what it is that I'm feeling. It feels kind of magical. As much as I feel uncomfortable with this energy, it feels pretty magical in terms of things continuing to move forward, it continuing to feel like there are gifts coming in from the universe. I think we're going to need to approach some things a little bit differently in order to continue to allow this, but I will talk about that in a minute. So the first thing that I think is most important for me to highlight is I think we are going to notice over the course of the week that either over the course of this week or already, we have already been given all of the right ingredients. So what I mean by that is all of the experiences, all of the clarity, all of the learning, all of the opportunities, whatever this is, all of the ingredients, whatever that is, to create the thing that you want to create the recipe for that manifestation. And I feel like for important manifestations here for us this week, that either we get that last ingredient or we realize, geez, I've had all of these ingredients this whole time. I just need to put it together and create it. So I feel that with this energy, and I'm curious, are you guys noticing these things coming together for you? And the question to ask yourself is, how do I bring all of this together? How am I feeling called to bring all of this together to create something in my life? It might be an action that you're feeling called to take. It might be a leap of faith that you're feeling called to make. It might be a willingness to lean into something. It might be a triggering situation or a painful situation, but it helps you to understand something from another perspective, or it gives you what you need to help somebody else with a similar situation. All kinds of different things. It really has this energy of alchemy, of taking experiences and mixing it together to create something really powerful. And so I want you to watch for that. This week, I think we need to have eyes that are looking for blessings. We need to have eyes that are looking for these gifts, that are looking for these ingredients, that are watching for that and seeing that everything that is showing up for us is happening for us. I think that it's so important for us to be looking at the world through the story that we want to see, not the story that we're used to. So what I mean by that is I think that a lot of people are trying to create different for themselves right now. But what's happening, the way that the brain works, is that the brain creates from the old story. It creates from the things that we have heard or have been taught by other people for so long. And we're just playing out those stories. And those stories are ongoing. They continue on in our lives until we choose to change them. And I think that this is a week where if we choose it, we really have a lot of power to change that. But if you're wanting to see a new story, you have to be willing to truly look for a new story, to start to look for evidence, almost like you're an investigator, like you're a scientist, and you're looking for evidence that this new story is now unfolding. And that might be that you're looking for magical experiences that are indicating that things are moving in the right direction. That might be that you're looking for that spiritual guidance and you're following it as you feel called to move in a different direction. That might be that you are willing to move into a direction even though you feel afraid, because part of you feels that this story can be different. This story can be better. And so you're no longer describing or viewing this new circumstance through the old story. I hope that that makes sense. So it's like looking for evidence that better things are coming your way, looking for evidence that your financial situation is improving, looking for evidence that your career is becoming more successful, looking for evidence that relationships are improving in your life, these types of things. And whatever your intentions are, looking for evidence that your health is improving, that the changes that you've been making are creating some kind of a result, and looking for evidence. Because what happens is when we're looking for the old story, when we fall back on, that's never going to happen, or it's always this way, or this is my truth and all of that stuff, and we fall back on that, and that story isn't something that continues to serve us, we're going to get more of the same, but you're not going to be happy with that. So finding a new story that does serve us with where we're at now, and leaning into that and honoring that, and looking for evidence that that's happening, looking for evidence that the ingredients are coming in to support the new story rather than the old story. I also, when I connected with this energy, heard the word unbecoming. And I think that that's part of why this energy is so magical, is I feel like we're shedding layers right now of what other people told us to be, who other people told us to be, how other people told us to behave. I think that we're connecting with some clarity, helping to understand some circumstances and being able to make sense of it, seeing it from different perspectives. And it's all just helping to support us with releasing all of the stuff that isn't really us, that isn't really how we want to be, how we want to show up, who we want to be. And it's allowing us to step into this version of ourselves that is so much more authentically us, that is so much more connected with who we actually are. And you might find that things are coming up this week that are reminding you of who you actually are. And you might need to take a look at, do these things that I'm focusing on, do they still align with who I am and who I want to be, and this version of myself that is my most authentic, light-filled version of myself? So taking a look at that. I also heard that we need to be taking a look at making space for the things that really matter, to be willing to make it a priority. I don't know if any of you guys watch Love Island, but I do. I think it's so ridiculous and I love it so much. Some of you guys know, like, I'm just a big reality TV fan. But the thing about Love Island is it is an investment. It is a quite a time investment. And so I've had to kind of recognize, like that's something you can get to when you can get to it, but it's not something. Do I really want to make Love Island a priority in my life? No. I have way more important things to be focusing on, my kids, my family, my work, the amazing people that I get to connect with all the time. There's just so many things that are more important. And so I am really trying to make sure that that is my focus, because that's what really matters to me. My health, my well-being, that's a big focus for me right now. My regulating my nervous system, doing that with my membership right now. All of that is what's important. And so I mentioned that because I recognize that there's a level of, I don't even know if this is the right word. This is a silly word to use for this, but a level of sacrifice to make happen the things that I want to have happen versus the things that maybe feel fun and light in the moment. And yes, I think we need to make room for that too, because we want to feel fun and light, but these other things also feel fun and light for me, and they also feel like the priority. So we might find that we're making a little bit of space, and that might mean that I'm not quite so caught up on Love Island. I'll catch up later. I'll catch up when I have time, because I have things that are so important. I felt this calling to make this 30-day nervous system reset so strongly, and it was just like loud and clear. And it was a message for me originally. It was a message where it was like, Christy, you've been operating from fight or flight more often then is good for you. And it's time to bring that back into balance, because everything that you're wanting to create that's not moving forward, that you're stuck with, will come on the other side of just getting yourself to a greater place of peace more consistently, and making peace my vibrational set point. That's what I want. How about you guys? And so if Love Island is not part of that equation right now, Love Island is not part of that equation right now. So we're finding that balance with that. So that's just an example, but let me know for you, are there things that you feel like, okay, I need to set this aside a little bit because my priority is this? What is your priority right now? What do you want to focus on? What inspires you? And what do you feel like is going to be a solid return on your investment? I think that there's been a lot of room for distractions or getting lost in things that maybe are kind of fun to us, but if we get too lost in them, then we're not really connecting with the important things in life, or the things that are most important to us. I'm not here to tell you what is the priority for you, right? This is about coming from that place of what is your priority and operating from that place. And I feel like if we allow it, there's a lot of room for avoidance. There's a lot of room for distraction with things. And if we're asking ourselves what's most important, we want to make sure that we're taking action and we're moving in the direction of those things. So I hope that that makes sense. I also feel like this is an emotional energy. I've been feeling a little emotional roller coastery. I don't think that's a word, but we're going to use it as a word. How about you? Have you been feeling emotional roller coastery? It's been a little all over. Sometimes it's like really great and really incredible and inspired. And then other times it's just like, okay, I could cry a lot. And I'm not even necessarily sure what that is. And I talked about that in my monthly reading in the membership too, like to expect that throughout the month. So I have a sense of some of the alignments and where that's coming from. And I think that there's a lot of room for us to get overwhelmed in this energy. So just keep that in mind as we're going through all of this. Say hello if you're watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube if you're watching on the YouTube. 7 of Cups. We're going to pull cards now. I've already pre-shuffled, set my intentions. So 7 of Cups. I will pull these and then we will go over what they mean. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. I love to see it. Let's see. 2 of Swords. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Wands. The 8 of Wands. Yeah, I mean, all of this makes so much sense. Okay, let's break it down. Say hello. Let me know you guys are watching. Let me know if you're watching on the replay. Feel free to share this, like this, whatever you guys feel called to do. Thank you so much, by the way. Some of you guys are amazing at this, and I appreciate it so much. It really helps a lot. I'm trying to grow my channel, and all of that helps so much. Okay, so let's start with the 7 of Cups. Geez, there's just, in this deck, there's such an innocence to this. I don't know. I get, what is that? Let me just connect with that for a minute. What is this feeling? Oh, okay. So it's like, I think we have a lot of really great things showing up. These are the ingredients, right? The 7 of Cups is the ingredients coming together. But there's like this childlike wonder that I'm feeling with this. And that's so funny because wonder was my word for the year for myself and for us collectively. That's what I had come through. So meaning that we need to be approaching all of it from a place of wonderment, being just really excited about the things that are showing up and happening, even if we're not sure why or what's happening, because it's all happening for us. And I think there's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of weird stuff that is happening and will be happening. So it kind of feels like that, but there's almost like this excited child kind of energy. Like it's some of the things that are coming together are things that we've dreamed about, we've wanted forever. things that on some level you've known that you've wanted forever. Maybe like an actual dream, a vision that you have, and something that you've just thought, oh, someday I'm going to have that. And I feel like for some people, like that's this week, or we see the beginnings of that this week. This is also about seeing how all of these pieces, all of these parts are coming together. This is not the traditional meaning of the Seven of Cups, by the way, but I feel this is like all these parts coming together, and it's like the pieces of the puzzle coming together, and then we have the full puzzle. You still have to put the puzzle together. I want you to keep that in mind. You still have to, if you have all of the ingredients of the recipe, if they just sit in the refrigerator or the pantry, it doesn't do you any good. You still have to mix it together and bake it, right? So pay attention to the actions that you're feeling called to take this week, and pay attention to the way that some things are coming together so that you can co-create something. I feel like for some too, it's a willingness to move forward through some kind of fear. I feel like for some, there's been blessings that have been coming in, that have been there, but it's like a fear, like a self-protection, or a fear to move forward with it because you're afraid to be hurt. You're afraid to be disappointed. You're afraid that it's just going to be the same old story. But remember what we talked about with the stories. You have to look for the evidence that the story is now a different story. It's a whole new book. It's not just a different chapter. It's a whole new book. If you write this book differently, if you allow this to unfold differently, otherwise you are going to get a similar chapter to the last one. So just that willingness. And I think we're going to be presented with some different options this week to choose from and explore. And it feels, sometimes Seven of Cups is like being spoiled for choice, but this feels like spoiled in a good way. Just some things coming together. And now you're in a position of, how do I bring this together? Or what do I do with this? Or what's the next step? And that clarity will come. So make sure that you're taking that time to connect with yourself. Other blessings coming in, the Five of Pentacles in reverse. I love to see this. This is moving out of an energy where we have felt lack, where we have felt left out, where we have felt forgotten, left behind. Maybe some kind of a return. Some kind of a return on an investment that we have put our energy into, maybe some kind of a financial return. Maybe you have been struggling financially, or just afraid, or been feeling lack in some way. It doesn't have to be financially. And now this week you get to see, okay, here it's all coming in. Almost like, you know what, the vision that I have right now is somebody stepping on a hose, and now all of a sudden they take their foot off and the hose is able to flow. And I had that image, I think it was last week, where it was like a dam breaking, or just water flowing so strongly. So I think that the blessings that are coming in hard and fast. Two of Swords, if we allow that, we have to create it. We have to take that and we have to create something from it. We can't just let it sit there. Two of Swords, and this is where this comes in. This is us deciding, okay, what do I do with all of this? Now I have clarity. Now I have the ingredients. Now I have a sense of the direction that I need to go. Am I going to choose to write a new chapter in my life, to move forward with something that I feel called to lean into, to take a leap of faith, to go after something, try something, to accept an opportunity, to take a painful situation and use it to benefit others in some way, to do something with it. So it's like exploring what to do with it. And you might find yourself in this place this week. And the answer is always going to lie in your intuition. It's not going to lead you wrong. You want to make sure that you're not choosing from a place of fear, because when you choose from a place of fear, you're only going to get the same thing again. So if you look at how have I traditionally handled similar situations, And has that worked out well for me? If the answer to that is no, then you're being invited and you're being called to move differently, to respond differently, to be open to allowing the blessings. I'm hearing be open to the blessings that want to come into your experience. Maybe some of you have had some significant blessings come in, but you haven't felt ready for them. You haven't felt open to them for some reason. You felt maybe downright afraid of them, especially with that Five of Pentacles. But I think that we're moving beyond that fear right now and trusting ourselves to choose to choose better for ourselves, and also trusting in our higher power. Lean into that. You're never going to regret that. The next card that we have here is the Seven of Pentacles. Try not to get caught up in the metrics of it all. That's what it feels like. So maybe you said by this age, I'm going to do this, or I want to have this number of new clients, or I want to have this amount of money in my bank account, or whatever this is. Be careful with that. It's good to set intentions and it is good to be specific. But I feel like in this energy, this is just saying, but don't let the metrics bring you to a place of where you're feeling lack, where you're feeling like there isn't success, that things are not coming together. So make sure that you are, again, looking from a place of looking for evidence that it's moving in the right direction, that there is progress, that things are moving, and they may not be moving according to your plan. And I say this with love, but it's not about your plan. It's about God's plan. And your intentions, you co-create with God. So your intentions are very important. And you can create some really magical stuff. But what if you put that out there and you say, God, please help me with this. And then you look for evidence that God is helping you with this. And that you don't get too caught up in the fact that you haven't made the progress that from your perception, you believe that you need to be making. Because everything in the right timing. And the right timing is all about simply you being in the right place in order to allow the blessings to actually happen. And so maybe there are some things needing to be balanced within you in order to allow this progress to happen. So ask yourself that question, like, do I need to do some balancing? Do I need to balance my nervous system? We've talked about that. If you're feeling called, I feel this collective call for that. And that's why I created that so quickly together in my membership, so that we could focus on that together. The Page of Wands. Get excited. Get excited about everything. And follow the path of the things that excite you. Follow the path of the things that light you up. There is a very childlike energy here with some of this. So it's funny, Davey Fielding, who works in my office, we were just talking about that and how that can be a way to soothe yourself as well, is to go back to that childlike part of yourself and to connect with that and to do things that just make you feel good. They've maybe always made you feel good. They've always been a part of what works for you, and focusing on that. It's a good place to put your energy right now, because it's going to help to support your healing. But I also get the sense with this that there's something new and exciting that you're ready to lean into. And this, to be honest, it feels like a gift that's been sitting there right under our noses. And maybe either we weren't ready for it, or we had to work through some stuff before it happened, or just the timing wasn't feeling right. But now all of a sudden there's a willingness to take a step in that direction and just see where it leads, see where the adventure leads, because this can be a card of an adventure. So what is the adventure that you're feeling pulled to lean into? Speaking of adventure, then we have the Eight of Wands. So this is so many things coming into our experience all at once. Did we have the Eight of Wands last week? I feel like we did. Absolutely all of the right ingredients coming in. Absolutely blessings coming in, clarity coming in, gifts coming in, wisdom, light bulb moments, communications that bring with it opportunities, aha moments, opportunities that you're going to want to jump on, that you're going to want to lean into. There's a lot that's happening. And part of this is about being open to this. Now, the Eight of Wands can also keep you pretty busy. So this might be why I got that message that we need to be making space for what matters, what's really important. What did you really want to experience here in this life? And make that the priority, because you may not have time for all of it right now. You might have to wait a couple of weeks to catch up on Love Island. I don't know. I'm feeling that. So whatever that is for you, let me know what that looks like. But I think we have a lot to look forward to. And I think in spite of there being intensity because of the Schumann resonance is spiking a lot, there's just some things that I'm feeling happening, and I don't quite know what it is, but I know that we're supported. And I know that our bodies and our minds are being prepared to carry and hold more light. And so it's been a lot on our bodies, and maybe even you've been sick or something like that. I have had headaches and just felt sinus pressure nearly every day lately. And that's not really typical for me unless there's a lot going on with the energy. So hang in there, take care of yourself through all of this, but watch for the blessings coming in, watch for the ingredients, and ask yourself what it is that you need to do in order to create what's next for you, in order to create this next part of your story. And then I want you to look for that evidence that that new story is unfolding. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here at a different time today. I appreciate it so much. I will see you next week with another weekly video, probably some other videos before that. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.